Still can't believe I'm sitting here telling this story. 3 days ago, my daughter needed emergency surgery, something we had been fearing for weeks. And when the moment finally came, not a single person showed up to support us. Not my so-called family, not my husband, not even the people I thought would be there no matter what. I remember sitting in the hospital waiting room, gripping her tiny hand while she was being prepped for surgery, and thinking to myself, am I really this alone in the world? It's hard to describe the mix of panic, fear, and heartbreak that washed over me in that moment. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, 3 days later, my husband texted me. It was cold, brief, and completely detached. He said, and I quote, "Can you send $4,000 for my share? Can you imagine that? My little girl is in surgery fighting for her life, and the person who should have been by my side is asking me for money. Tell me, if you were in my shoes, would you even know what to do?" Let me take a step back and explain everything. Because if I start at the end, you might not understand how deep this betrayal goes. My daughter Lily is 6 years old, and she's been battling a heart condition since she was born. It's always been scary, but she's a fighter. We've had minor hospital visits before, checkups, little procedures, but this one was different. This time, the doctors found a complication that required immediate surgery. They told me there was no time to waste, that if we didn't act quickly, things could get much worse. I called my family, my husband, even some close friends, and everyone promised they would be there. They said, "We've got you. We'll be there for Lily." All the things you want to hear when your child's life is on the line. But when I arrived at the hospital that morning, the waiting room was empty, save for me and the nurse who came to take Lily in. My heart sank. I remember looking at her little face, trying to keep calm, telling her everything was going to be okay, even though inside I was falling apart. I tried calling my husband first. I thought maybe he was running late or stuck in traffic, but he didn't pick up. I texted him, "Lily's surgery is starting in 30 minutes. Please come." No reply. I called my mom. No answer. My dad, who I've always leaned on in crises, didn't even bother picking up. And that's when reality hit me like a freight train. I was completely alone. Every time I blinked, I could feel the panic rising in my chest. I remembered all those times I had been there for them, celebrating birthdays, helping out with emergencies, even lending money when they were short. And now, in the moment that mattered the most, no one was there, not a single person. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I had to be strong for Lily. I followed the nurse to the operating room, my hands trembling so badly that I could barely hold hers. She looked up at me with those big, innocent eyes and whispered, "Mommy, will you stay?" And I had to tell her the truth in the softest, calmest voice I could muster. "I'm right here, baby. I'll be waiting for you when you wake up. You're going to be fine." But my voice shook, and I know she could feel it. The doors closed and I was left alone, sitting on a sterile bench in a quiet hospital corridor. Every sound seemed amplified, the beeping of monitors, the distant chatter of nurses, even the occasional squeak of a cart rolling down the hallway. I kept thinking, how could people be so heartless? How could they not even send a text to check on us? I felt abandoned, completely invisible, and yet, there was nothing I could do except pray and wait. Hours passed, or maybe it was minutes. I honestly lost track of time. The doctors finally came out, and they said the surgery went well, but Lily needed to stay in ICU for observation. Relief washed over me, but it was mixed with this raw, painful anger. How could my husband, my parents, and the people who claimed to care about us just not show up? I called them all, one by one, still hoping for an explanation. And then, 3 days later, I received that text from my husband. My phone buzzed and I saw his name on the screen. My chest tightened. I opened the message. "Can you send $4,000 for my share?" Just like that. No concern for how Lily was doing. No, "Are you okay?" No, "I hope she's recovering." Nothing. Just money. $4,000. For what? The surgery was already over. The doctors had already been paid. I couldn't believe it. I stared at the phone, my hands shaking, and I felt a storm of emotions. Betrayal, disgust, fury, and a deep, gut-wrenching sadness. To give you a little context, my husband and I had been together for over a decade. I thought we were a team. I thought he loved Lily as much as I did. But clearly, I was wrong. Over the years, there had been little signs. Missed birthdays, unreturned calls, excuses about money, but I had always brushed them off. I told myself, he's under stress. He just doesn't understand how serious this is. anything to keep believing in the family we had built. But that text shattered everything. I knew in that moment that my family, at least the ones I had counted on, weren't really my family at all. I want to pause here and tell you, this is when I had to make a choice. I could let this break me, let it destroy the little faith I had left in people, or I could stand up, take control, and protect Lily in the way she deserved. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Could you have stayed calm? Could you have found the strength to confront someone who should have been your partner in life and family but clearly wasn't? I decided to act, but not rashly. I wanted him to understand exactly what his neglect meant. I called him, not to argue, not to beg, but to lay it all out. I told him calmly but firmly exactly what had happened, how Lily had been in surgery, how I was alone, how I had called him, my parents and even friends, and no one had come. I described every moment of fear, every tear I had tried to hide, every second I had felt abandoned while watching my little girl fight for her life. I could hear him stammering on the other end of the line. And I realized that maybe he had expected me to just hand over the money quietly, like nothing happened. I told him that $4,000 was the last thing on my mind. What mattered was Lily's life, and the fact that he and everyone else had chosen not to be there. And then I did something I had never done before. I told him, you know what? Don't bother sending that money. You're not part of this family anymore. At least not in the way you should be. Lily deserves people who actually show up when it matters, not someone who texts about money while their child is in ICU. That was it. Cold, final, and honestly, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. It was terrifying to cut someone out like that, especially someone I had trusted for years. But it felt necessary. My daughter needed a mother who would fight for her. And if he couldn't be that person, then he had no place in our lives. In the days that followed, I focused entirely on Lily. I stayed at her bedside, held her hand, read her stories, and reminded her over and over how brave she was. I saw glimpses of her old self each day. The little smiles, the laughter, the playful kicks of her legs, and it reminded me why I had to be strong. My parents finally called a week later, apologizing, saying they didn't realize how serious it was, how stressed I must have been. But the damage was done. Their absence had left a mark on me, a reminder that when it mattered most, I could only rely on myself. I still don't know why they didn't show up. Maybe they had their own problems. Maybe they just didn't care enough, but whatever the reason, it doesn't excuse leaving your granddaughter alone in a hospital. I also learned something else in this ordeal. True family isn't always the people who share your last name or live under the same roof. True family shows up even when it's inconvenient, even when it's scary, even when it's hard. And sometimes, the people you think will be there are the ones who disappoint you the most. I shared this story with a few friends who had been in similar situations, and they told me they understood the feeling of abandonment, the sting of betrayal, and the clarity that comes when you finally decide to protect the ones you love. It was strange, but in that pain, I found strength. So that's how things stand now. Lily is recovering beautifully. She's back at home making little messes, laughing at cartoons, and asking for ice cream despite being told to stick to soft foods. And me? I've never felt more sure of my choices. My husband and I are officially separated. I've cut off the toxic connections in my life and focused on building a support system that actually cares. I don't dwell on the betrayal anymore. I channel that energy into love and care for my daughter. And it's made all the difference. I want to leave you with this thought. Never wait for people to prove their loyalty in moments that matter. Watch their actions, not just listen to their words. And if they fail, don't be afraid to walk away, even from those who were once closest to you. Protect your own, fight for the ones who matter, and never compromise your peace for someone else's negligence. If you were on my side while reading this story, please like this video and let me know. If you want to hear more real-life shocking stories like this, make sure to subscribe and share your final thoughts in the comments section. I genuinely want to hear what you would have done if you were in my shoes. I'll see you all in the next story.